Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to FA Cup week, Dan.
Oh, my favourite.
What would you put in the FA Cup if you won it?
Oh, good question. I wasn't prepared for that.
Sorry.
A nice rioja.
I'd go for like a cheese fondue.
Oh, right, yeah, okay.
Preheated.
Share it with the whole squad.
Yeah. Everyone gets a bit of toast. Crack on.
I prefer a sweet fondue, chocolate fondue, and dip in like strawberries and marshmallows and whatnot in it.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Have you seen that amazing Twitter video of the guy trying to work out the correct ratio of cheese for his fondue?
Yeah, I did see that, yeah.
Amazing. Anyway, FA Cup, Matt Taylor started warming up the cheese for the fondue because Exeter City are into the second round.
Yep. Into the hat.
Into the hat.
Annoyingly, the draw's tonight, isn't it, as we're recording this, so maybe we should have... No, we're not about that, are we?
We're not about that.
We're just cracking on.
But let's assume that we're drawn against Huddersfield. I don't know if they're still in it.
No, me neither. I'm going to guess Portsmouth.
Ooh, I'd like to get Argyle, actually. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Give them a good pasting.
Anyway,
we're into the glass bowl.
How did that happen?
It happened because we beat Flybe.com in the
Very confusing, wasn't it?
Very confusing. My eyes really wanted to read it as Flybe.
I heard Flybe were back, but I didn't know that they'd already put the football team together.
It's a bold move, innit? They were so incensed about Carpetright taking their mantle. They've set up their own club.
Yeah. So, 2-1.
Yeah.
Exeter.
We didn't... As you'd expect from Exeter City in the first round of the FA Cup, despite that surprising stat, they kept saying this, didn't they? We haven't been beaten at home in the FA Cup against non-league opposition since 1970-something.
I mean, I hate it when they come up with these sort of scenarios. If the scenario has to go on longer than a few words, and yeah, of course, obviously,
Yeah, I do know. I mean,
when it was we haven't lost at home, when it was a full moon, when City were wearing red socks since 1903.
Yeah,
like, who cares?
Yeah, nonsense. And of course, nothing can take away the pain of those awful times we've been beaten by non-league opposition away. Warrington springs to mind. There've been loads. Very many.
Yeah.
So anyway, we went down 1-0. I can't even say it right. Filed. They defiled Andreasen's goal with a nicely taken shot.
Yeah.
And we were 1-0 down.
That one's filed under Scorcher.
Good. If only Andreasen hadn't filed his nails, he might have got a fingertip to it. But he had, and so he didn't. And so we were 1-0 down after about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But then it was a good recovery first half. Matt J with an absolute also to be filed under boom.
Yeah.
He back to goal. What was he, 25 yards out?
Yeah, just outside the box, but he's sort of getting further away as he shoots. It's almost like a kind of, I compare it to the kind of fade away in basketball where you're kind of jumping backwards.
Yeah, it was like that.
But he's sort of like running almost towards his own goal as he turns and sort of uses the sort of momentum that the ball's got going the other way to,
Kind of a boomerang effect.
I don't know what's going on. He's clearly some sort of master of physics because it's and it's gone in the keeper's bottom right hand corner.
It has. I think
1-1.
1-1. I think it was a boomerang effect. I think if Matt J came from a continent, it would be Austra-jaysia.
Right. He looks a bit Australian, doesn't he now, with his sort of like wild man kind of look.
Maybe he knows what a flaming galah is. Yeah, he does look
He's
a bit
the only City player who follows us on Twitter, so...
Thanks, Matt. And Manfie Sharp. We got one from each of the teams.
I haven't checked if either of these people still follow us, by the way. That might not be true.
Surely
anyway, 1-1.
1-1, and then about 10 minutes later, 15 minutes later, we put ourselves in head. Talk us through it, Dan.
Well, I think it's a Jack Sparks corner, wasn't it? From the an in-swinger. So from over there by the new stand. I never know whether that's the right or the left. Anyway, I'll get confused with that. Same as stage right and stage left. I never really know.
I think it's the right if you're looking at the goal, isn't it?
Okay, right. So, yeah, comes in, whips it in. He's put in a lot of good crosses, I thought, Sparks. All the way to the back post. And then what's becoming, rapidly, a signature move from reinstated Rory McCardle.
Yeah, up from
Back
the gravy
post
road.
header. Yeah. It doesn't go straight across the goal, but back to, I think, Kite, who then headers it towards the back post, and Hartridge, who sort of spins and turns it in on the volley.
Another excuse to see that GIF.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's very nice.
And then we're in front, and then, to be honest, we could probably stop talking about it here, because then from then on it's quite dull.
Yeah, it was a dull second half, wasn't it? But interesting points. That's FA Cup debuts for Hartridge and Kite, and
who else? Don't know. I think that's about it. But yeah, they did well. I thought I liked the look of Hartridge. I think with him and Kite as well, and I suppose for a couple of the others, but maybe they've got a couple little sort of errors in them, which I suppose is bound to happen when you're kind of just breaking into the first team. But when you're in a situation like this where you have to play, then it can cost you. But overall, I thought they were great, especially Hartridge, actually.
Yeah.
Big fan of his.
Yeah.
We switched back to the formation we seemed to be playing a bit more last year.
Three
centre-backs.
Yeah.
Sweeney, Hartridge and McCardle.
I mean, Sweeney, as you know, I think that's 5 games in a row now he's started.
Yeah.
Really, things have turned around massively for him.
Have they, or are things just exactly the same? Because we'll come to that on his contribution from the last league game. When was that? Tuesday?
Yeah,
well, Tuesday night.
Tuesday
We'll come to that in a minute. But yeah, we saw off File, didn't we? Basically,
it's kind of all you can ask.
It was a strong team. I know obviously Hartridge, and you got Hartridge and Kite in there, and the new young keeper. But other than that, it was like pretty. I mean, maybe not first choice, but pretty much.
We were missing Collins and Taylor, weren't we?
Yeah, and Collins especially was a big miss in terms of us sort of controlling the ball, especially sort of early on. We got the hang of it later on, but I do think he sort of brings that kind of like, the kind of taking it off the defence and working it out that kind of way, which I think we're kind of at our best when we do that. We're actually a really good team on the ball, but.
I don't think it was quite the lineup I expected. I don't think it was the lineup many expected. Seymour started, but Bowman was still there. I wonder.
Yeah, so 2 up front again, again like last season. That was strange. Bowman being in the side was strange to me. You suggested to me that you said maybe it's probably because weaker opposition, a chance for him to kind of get on the score sheet and get some of that confidence back. But other than that, I can't see any reason why he would have played that.
No.
Apart from the fact that apparently Fisher's injured.
Fisher's injured. Ajose was on the bench. Did you hear what Matt Taylor said about Ajose?
I didn't, no.
So...
but I know people are sort of baying for the media or, the MSM, Devon Live, that's you, to press Taylor more on this issue. As trust members, we're paying his wages.
I mean, that's a bold step for the trust to take, isn't it? To now hassle the manager about team selection. And that essentially puts us in the same category as like...
Not the right road to go down,
no,
I don't think.
Essentially puts you in the same category as lunatic chairman who,
Yeah.
So I
think... that American guy who used to own Chester and then became the manager and, yeah.
Exactly, all that stuff. So I don't imagine Taylor will give us any answers. But he did hint at why Jose didn't come on.
Okay.
He essentially was saying Jose is a lightweight player. Not in the... he didn't mean it to be critical, and he said as much, but that he's a kind of quick, can't be that strong kind of player, will get the goals, but he's not really a bruiser.
Right, what on earth is he talking about?
Well, that was his justification.
Because Ben Seymour is an absolute mountain of a man, is he?
I don't know. Look it up.
Jose has got experience playing at a higher level than this. What does he think they are in League One? They're just sort of like... Are they all... It's not...
Maybe he's a luxury player. Maybe he's a luxury player.
Well, maybe he is. But then if you're going to call him a luxury player, then how many other luxury players have we got in there?
Yeah.
Matt J, Joel Randall, whatever. Ben Seymour is I'm not slagging off Seymour. I thought he did all right, on Saturday. But that can't be it.
Can I suggest something?
They've fallen out?
Oh, I'm sure they've fallen out. You can't just... When you've got an expensive player on your books and the January transfer window's approaching, you can't just be like, he's hopeless.
That's what. Yeah, I know. It's mad, isn't it?
So I think we're having to hear, because like we're seeing, people want to ask questions.
No one's going to fall for that, though. Surely someone with a big checkbook aren't going to go like, this player looks fantastic. I think I'll buy him for my team.
I don't know where he'll go.
Hang on a minute. He hasn't played any. Let's have a look at why. Oh, the manager says it's okay because he's just a little bit too lightweight for League 2. So my League 1 team will be perfect for him. Where do I sign? It's mad. That's not going to work, is it?
No, it's not going to work. I can't. I don't know what to tell you. I guess maybe we'll see him in the EFL trophy, which is a week's time.
Oh yeah. I mean, whatever. I know I was mocking these people, but I would quite like to sort of hear an explanation for it. And I'm not demanding one as a trust member or anything like that. I just find it so curious, and especially given the fact that Ryan Bowman looked off the pace, to be kind to him.
Yep. Ben
Seymour has yet to sort of reach his potential or reach anywhere near the potential of some of the other youngsters. He hasn't. He scored 1 goal for Exeter and none this season.
Yeah.
Alex Fisher's injured.
Yeah.
He's the only other striker.
Yeah.
I mean, he's played Joel Randall through the middle in that support role before he played Jose, and that's clearly not his position. So I don't know. It is weird. So that's why people want answers. But I don't know.
I mean, presumably we'll never get any.
We'll have to at some point. I'll tell you what, next time I see him sitting outside a vegan cafe, I'm just going to go ask him. The problem is he just looks so intimidating. I've been tempted, but he just looks like he's going to... I don't know, what am I supposed to say? Hey, Nicky, how come you're not getting in the side?
I mean, other people must be asking him that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're one of those people, or if you see him knocking about and are braver than me, can you ask him?
Yeah, well, it would be really interesting to know, wouldn't it? But it's not happening at the minute.
Who would you rather ask, Matt Taylor or Nicky Jose?
Oh, I think I'd ask Taylor.
Would you?
Yeah.
I would. I think I'd go with Nicky.
I think
it'd be easier to get on, pretend you just, even if, I'm not pretending, but you could sort of pretend you're on his side sort of thing.
I think there's other things you
can't believe he's not playing you, man.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, good impression of someone who's on his side.
Yeah.
I'd be like, Matt, great season. This is my technique here. Great season, love it. Love Hartridge, love Seymour. Tell me, Nicky Jose all right? That's how I'd say it.
Yeah, I think that sounds... He still knows that's sort of passive-aggressive, doesn't he?
It's not passive-aggressive, it's just jolly. Anyway, we don't know. Maybe we'll never know. What we do know is we're in the second round of the Cup and Jose isn't getting any league time anytime soon.
No.
I'd be very surprised if he played a league game for us again, given this. The Cup games aren't getting any easier, are they?
I mean, it could happen, but then I think people would really be wanting to know what the hell was going on.
Well, I think if Bowman's head comes off...
I think he'd still play.
I mean, he's tough. He's a bit like the knight in Monty Python, isn't he?
Well, I want to talk about this. I don't know whether we were going to carry on with, or do this in the next section, but is Bowman tough?
Oh.
Is he? Is this a myth? Is it a myth in the same way that McCardle's tough? Is it the fact that they're both actually just a bit tall? I don't see much evidence, apart from the fact that Ryan Bowman once elbowed someone in the face, probably accidentally. I don't see any evidence that he's that... I mean, say tough, what do you mean? I mean, I don't think he's that strong.
I think he's a bit of a... nasty...
He's big.
He's a bit of a nasty piece of work, I think people would say about him.
Maybe. I mean, we've seen
I don't know if that's true or not.
I'd say less... I mean, if you're saying who's the... I'd put Jake Taylor ahead of him in those stakes. If you're talking about on the pitch... But
he's a lovely man.
The kind of the dark arts, shall we call it?
Yeah.
Jake Taylor's much worse than Ryan Bowman, so that makes him but no one ever refers to Jake Taylor as like a tough... He's a tough guy, do they?
No.
Because he's not tall. I think that's all it is. Because I just don't see this from Bowman. What I do see is he's working hard. And yeah, he is working hard. And it's all anyone ever says about him. He works so hard for the team. It's non-stop with whoever's on commentary for BBC Radio Devon, except a little young chap called James Harris, who I think did very well the other day. They always, everything they say is, oh, he works so hard for the team. He's such a hard worker. He never stops running. Yeah, all right, great. That is good. But he doesn't, this season, he doesn't offer any kind of a threat. Does he? Is he a threat?
I would say he's not a threat. I heard a really interesting piece on the radio with Chris Sutton. You know what happened with Harry Kane the other day when Lallana went over the top of him? See that?
Yes.
If you haven't seen it, listeners, Harry Kane is on the edge of the penalty box. He sees Lallana mid-air, and so he backs into him and falls over, right? And gets a penalty. And Chris Sutton's going mad, as was Jose Mourinho, about the claims that, like, Harry Kane had somehow stitched up Lallana or sold the referee a lie. And they're all saying the striker can go wherever they want on the pitch. That's their job. They just got to go to the right place and the ball will come to them. Now, Bowman gets it right when the ball's lofted up from the back or played into his feet. He usually is somewhere near the right part of the pitch, in the centre third, between 10 yards out from the box and the 6-yard box. He usually gets to that kind of position when the ball's coming towards him from our goal. But when the crosses are made, when you can actually be useful, he's never in the right place.
His movement's shocking. I mean, bare minimum, you want to get in front, you want to get across your man, don't you? Do you know what I mean? A good striker, you suggest, or a certain type of striker, is trying to get towards the near post. I'm not, again, note to Taylor or whoever, that's what Nicky Jose does. He's always trying to get to that front post. Bowman doesn't do that. His movement for crosses is terrible. And to be honest, if you look at some of the things from Saturday, even when the ball comes right into twice, Jack Sparks played these crosses from the left-hand side. All right, one of them was maybe a little bit, it was quite it was quick. It was a quick cross. He's nowhere near him. He doesn't even try for them. It's bizarre. But I just don't see, so that's what I mean by I don't see how he's a threat. And I just don't see, yeah, you're right, he does get into good positions for that. But at the same time, people are looking for him. Like, he's being passed to. So it's not so much him being in the right place as people finding him.
Well, the easy criticism is Randall Williams, who I suppose probably over the last 18 months has been involved in the most crosses or the most crossing positions for crossing, I suppose.
I'd say you're probably right, yeah.
And so the criticism usually comes to Williams. And probably we've all joined in that because sometimes he doesn't beat the first man. Yeah,
and Williams' crossing leaves a bit to be desired, yeah.
But maybe actually more of the problem is Bowman's positioning in that, because he's generally, that's the combination you'd find, isn't it? Yeah. Williams cross, Bowman, probably percentage-wise, that's the most likely combination over the last 18 months. I can think of 2 times, maybe only one, that's been successful.
Because the other thing we've got now as well, you've got Sparks, you've got Caprice, you've got Lewis Randall,
Page.
You've got Page, you've got
Key,
and you've got Williams. So there's all people, and if we've not got someone to aim for, or someone who's worth aiming for, then that's a waste of a lot of talented crossers of the ball there.
Yeah, more crossing than by the traffic lights by the pyramids.
Yeah, very busy junction.
It's very busy. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and like we said before, and I think Ben Seymour will probably be the end of Bowman, because, again, I don't think I've been convinced by Seymour yet, and I think people are suggesting maybe he should go out on loan, and I'm not inclined to disagree with that. I think that might do him some good, down to Torquay for a year or something. But he also works hard. And so, do you know what I mean? Like, if hard work is all we're looking for,
yeah,
give it to Seymour.
Well, I think we're in trouble because, like, we've built the team clearly. I know these people. There's more to all of these players' games than just whipping in a good cross. But that how many is that? That's probably 6 players who's like that's a big part of their game. Who else are they aiming for when they whip those crosses in?
Yeah.
We've got no one else. We're a short team.
Well, having said that, we have actually scored quite a lot of headers from Key, Randall, and so on, haven't we? But you're right.
Yeah, actually, those guys, yeah, and from corners, a lot of those as well and stuff. But from open play, depends on people arriving in the box from a counter attack or something like that. Where those go? No wonder. I'd like to see how many sort of our cross, completion rate or whatever it is, because it can't be good.
I'd like to say this. I don't think we're in trouble because we're doing pretty well in the league.
No, yeah, you're right. What I meant was we're in trouble in that area.
Yes.
Of like, there's that that's been set up to do a certain job and doesn't do it.
I think if we resolve that some way or other, we look very, very impressive.
Yeah, what I mean, to resolve that, I mean, maybe January you bring in a striker who's good in the air.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, that's easier said than done, obviously.
Well, I guess the obvious solution is you give Fisher an extended run. Like, I know he's injured.
I don't think he's particularly good in the air either.
No,
I think he's decent at holding up the ball. Maybe decent at flick-ons, but in terms of like heading to goal, I've not seen any evidence that he's any good at that.
I think we can all agree Bowman isn't a header of the ball.
What is he then exactly?
Yeah,
just a worker.
He's a worker. But then I think then that makes the mystery of a Jose all the more, because a Jose, history tells us, does understand positioning, does understand how to make his runs. His heading's not going to be any worse than Bowman's. Like, it's just not. It basically can't be.
No, and what I suggested, like I said, he attacks the near post more, so maybe you don't have to hang up as many crosses if he's playing. You can still get the ball to wide areas. Play it to the near post.
The low near post cross is easier than the weighted air cross. It just is.
You got someone like Nicky Law as well, who's another good at getting the ball into the box, and he's especially good at picking out players in those areas.
Very interesting. I guess Bowman. Well, we know he's in Taylor's mind basically undroppable.
Well, I mean that he is. He started against a non-league team in the FA Cup. When there's other strikers available.
Yeah.
With a ridiculously busy schedule, so you obviously,
Yeah. All right, well, more of that in a minute. We'll see you after this break. Welcome back. The reason, Dan, I'm not wildly concerned, although I would like to see, a Shearer type figure up the top, is because we're up to fourth in the league, thanks to a 2-2 draw away at Morecambe.
Yeah, and despite all of that bluster there about Bowman, we're actually scoring a decent amount of goals.
We are.
It's a lot more than we were last year.
Yeah, absolutely. So we went 1-0 up. Beautiful long ball from Sweeney. Picked out Joel Randall, who made a really nice run. Sold their keeper an absolute...
down the X.
He really did.
If that was a goal we were conceding, I would be angry at the centre backs. But
that's their problem, not ours.
It is their problem.
That's the big Morecambe theory podcast problem.
Yeah,
Randall,
shrimp cast.
Yeah, shrimp. Yeah. So Randall took it really nicely, took it round the keeper, put it away very calmly. The kind of thing that Bowman would never do.
No chance.
If Bowman had that chance, that ball would still be in the North Sea. But Randall put it away nicely. One of their defenders...
It would have bounced all the way through that tunnel that goes there, the train goes down.
Yes.
End up in Morrison's car park.
Did you see...
The guy fall over the advertising hoarding?
Fall over the advertising hoarding. I'm trying to find my words.
Yeah, it's
very
amazing.
amusing. He not only fell over the advertising hoarding, but stayed there for some time.
So he's one of the centre-backs, I think, that kind of the ball floats right over his head.
Yeah.
So he legged it back to try and just
Didn't
recover.
get there.
It's too late.
Kept running.
Randall's slotted it away. He's not stopping. There's no way. He just keeps going until he gets stopped, basically, by that board that says, I don't know, Creeley or...
No, it was at Morecambe. It was at Morecambe.
Of course it was. Yeah.
Cockle Pickers.
Yeah.
Social club.
Straight over. Disappears.
Well, then he seems to be balanced on his head the other side, and his legs are just kind of flailing. Yeah.
It's well worth looking up. You can just sort of see it in the background as Randall peels away, can't you? After starting it home.
You know that painting by Hieronymus Bosch where he shows hell and someone's being eaten by a large monster.
Yeah,
that's much what that guy's legs look like.
Yeah.
This is the only football podcast that talks about Hieronymus Bosch, guaranteed.
Well, yeah, okay.
You're welcome.
Probably right.
Anyway, it was 2-2. So we went 1-0 up thanks to that. Then Sweeney, I'm blaming Sweeney for this. Andreasen and Sweeney, a bit of a mix-up.
Oh, I mean, what you've seen there is it's like you sort of what's the time between those two goals?
Oh, not long.
Because whatever that time period, that is Pierce Sweeney in a nutshell.
Yeah.
So it's like a bit of unbelievably good technique. I mean, fair enough. It's a bit of a kind of punt that pass.
Yeah.
But he does have a very good long ball sort of technique, So you've seen that, like a sort of lovely long ball.
Yep.
And then minutes later, a cock-up where he doesn't quite communicate properly with his keeper or know what to do or just get rid of it or do anything and ends up just sort of letting the defender nip in and score. Yeah, it's his error, especially when your goalkeeper is sort of 17-year-old who's never barely played a professional game before.
Yeah.
Sorry, you can't pass the buck onto him. Not that I'm suggesting Sweeney does, but him and, to be honest, Parks a bit. They kind of always sort of palm it off onto the keeper. Do you know what I mean? Like sell, like sort of like, well, I'll get rid of it. Well, my fault. I've passed it back to the keeper. Remember last season we kept putting it back onto Johnny Maxed's left foot.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, you're letting yourself off the hook, but you're stitching him right up.
Yeah. No, absolutely. In that situation, that's just got to go. But it didn't go 1-1, and then really quickly afterwards, another bit of, non-committal defending. I guess Josh Key isn't the only.
He doesn't get close enough to him, does he? But I think it's already been. We've just gone to pieces a little bit after that first goal goes in, and we've just lost control of it for a minute there. And he just shot from outside of the area, and again, not much the keeper could do about it. I'm pretty sure he's unsighted anyway.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And Key could have got closer.
So then we go in 2-1 down, but actually come out very strongly second half. Probably could have won it, but Taylor scores a very nice equaliser.
Yeah, it's so good to see him getting in those positions again, isn't it? Getting like just kind of running into the box or hang around on the edge of the area there, arriving, and it's like Lampard-esque.
Yeah, it was. So that means City were unbeaten in October. It means that Taylor was voted Man of the Month, Player of the Month, Man of the Month.
Man of the Month. In all aspects of life.
In all aspects.
Well, I mean, if I have to hear about the fact that... Did you know Taylor got married?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, right.
Thanks for telling me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's got married recently.
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
I wish someone had told me. I would have got him something. And Mrs. Taylor. So that was that. 2-2 puts us into fourth.
I don't put it down to his marriage, his good form. Do you know what I put it down to?
No.
Number 8.
Interesting.
That's Frank Lampard's number as well. He's playing like lamps.
Sure. Why not? Whatever works. I do like seeing him wear number 8.
Yeah, it took me a while to get used to.
Yeah.
Same with Law being number 7 because I don't know, something to do with Law's got that sort of shaved head, hasn't he? And sort of like it's got a nice symmetry there of the roundness of the top of his head and the roundness of the top of the number 8.
But now it's ruined.
Yeah, now it's all over the place.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm getting used to it.
Okay, well that's good. As is Taylor, who's been great. So City into fourth. Next up, we've actually got a week without a weekday game. Is Saturday, Bradford.
Yeah, make the most of your Tuesday nights because this is the first one for a while we haven't had a game.
What are you going to do with your Tuesday night?
And the next 2 after this week, we have got Tuesday nights again. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Oh, don't know. Don't know. You can't do much, can you? You're not allowed out the house.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I'll probably watch some other football from another team.
Yeah, it's possible. I've been watching... I'm not sure if I've mentioned it. I've been watching A Touch of Frost all the way through from the beginning, so I might catch up on a couple more episodes of that. I'm up to series 11, if you're asking.
Good to know. I wonder if you're the only person in the country currently watching that. I'd wager you probably are.
Maybe.
Anyway, it's Blackpool. No, it's not. Sorry, it's Bradford at the weekend. Bradford, not that in form in the league, but they've scored 10 in their last 2 games without reply. Do you see this in the cup? At the weekend, they beat Tunbridge Angels 7-0.
I mean, what are they doing in the FA Cup?
Well, they've
Tunbridge
qualified.
Angels?
Yes.
Okay.
Recently renamed after Charlie sold them, but Tunbridge have bought them, and they got thumped by Bradford. Bradford also won in the league, just gone 3-0. So that means they've got 10 goals without reply.
Yeah, I mean, 7 of those don't count because that's just,
before that, they'd actually lost 3 of their last 4 in the league. So
that does count. Okay, yeah. That's the next home game. Sorry, did you say that's away or home?
That I believe is away on Saturday.
Okay, at that nice old ground they got up there.
Nice old ground. Things to note about Bradford. What's the matter with me? Bradford is Stuart McCall's back in charge. I think this is his 3rd spell, formerly of Bradford.
Oh yeah,
Everton before that.
The Ginger Prince. His hair matches the kit.
He hasn't fallen off a car recently. You know that video?
No.
He's celebrating. I think his first time at Bradford. He's celebrating on top of a car, maybe on a car bonnet, and he falls off.
Oh, brilliant.
So watch out for that. Billy Clark, he's been at Bradford, I think, 4 different times, but he was at Argyle for a bit. He scored a couple at the weekend.
Okay. Oh, of course, we've got Bradford's favourite son, Nicky Law, haven't we? So
we have.
Another return there for him. There's been several of them now, and I don't know how many times we have to play them until we'll...
But it's his club, isn't it? And that's where he's from.
Oh, I don't know. Don't think so. He's from Manchester, isn't he? But he's been... I think he's played for them twice. So I think that's sort of why. And for sort of quite a long time, at least one of the times he was there for a bit.
Yeah.
As we know, Nicky Law, born in Plymouth.
I'd forgotten that, but yeah, you're absolutely right. So that is this weekend, and then the week after we've got West Brom in the... I think it's been renamed, but it's not showing up. The Papa John's Trophy.
Oh yeah.
So that's in the week after, next Tuesday.
Do you know what? Because I object to kind of this like sort of grotesque sort of advertising so much. Do you know what I'm going to do when I'm going to watch that game? And do you know what I'm going to do when I'm watching it?
What?
Eat a Domino's.
Wow, subversive. That would be good luck to
No.
you. No.
Eat a Dr. Oetker.
Nice. Ristorante.
Yeah,
nice.
From the supermarket.
Okay.
Have that, John.
Papa John or me?
No, so not you.
I'm having a dig.
There's a couple of people that call you Papa John, isn't there?
Yeah, I'm not. They don't usually call me that, but yeah, I suppose they could call me that. Bradford have got Oldham in the week as well. So
I'm going to tell them to.
Papa John. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I'm not really kind of sure what team they are yet. I don't suppose they are. People often talk about them as being, they're a big club, 25,000-seater stadium or whatever it is up at Valley Parade.
Yeah.
They beat Southend 3-0 in the league, but Southend are having a torrid time, aren't they?
Yep.
Before that, they'd lost to Barrow, to Bolton and to Newport. So I don't know what kind of form we'll find them in. Obviously,
Well, they find us in good form,
They
don't
find
they?
us in good form, but obviously anyone's going to be encouraged by 7-0, whoever you're playing.
Do you think if we'd played Tunbridge Angels, Bowman would have scored?
Well, I think that's probably what Taylor's mind was thinking. Do you think?
It's got to be. It's the only explanation.
But alas...
It's not, actually. There's also the thing of Alex Fisher being injured. But, yeah.
I mean... You'd love to see him get a hatful, wouldn't you? And push on and get those... How many did he finish with last year? Was it 15? I think it was.
Something like that, yeah.
But at the minute, we're fast approaching December and he's got one literally off his jacksie.
Yep.
So, I want to talk about the league a bit. We've got a couple of minutes left. Is that all right?
The league?
Yeah. There's been a few chops and changes. See who's gone in at Mansfield?
No, what, the manager's changed?
Nigel Clough.
Ah, Cloughie.
Seen who's gone in at Salford?
I did see that one, yeah.
Richie Wellens from Swindon.
Yeah.
So obviously, again...
Cha-ching.
They're splashing the cash, aren't they? I really getting fed up with Gary Neville. Because on one hand, he's all like, protect the EFL, protect the pyramid.
Comrade Neville on the one hand.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, he's like, well, I mean, Swindon aren't a small club, so they've obviously thrown a lot of money at getting Wellens in.
Yeah.
As they do with the players.
It's quite a strange kind of duopoly of ideals, isn't it?
I mean, they're really going out of their way to be more disliked than Milton Keynes, And I think it was really interesting. I watched FC United of Manchester in the Cup. That was on the BBC this weekend.
I noticed that, yeah.
And you think that's what standing against modern football is. That's an interesting stance. Like, I spoke to a couple of my mates who now support them, and...
Here's the thing, though. How do you do it as a kind of... let's say Gary Neville was a millionaire. How do you do that? Yeah, you want to get involved in supporting bringing through a small team, like Salford were. Still, you might argue. You've got a load of money.
Yeah.
How do you do that? Do you just not give them any money, but sort of just help out? I suppose, yeah.
I don't think he should. I don't think he should get involved. I think he's got a club, his club, the one he played for a really long time, the one he's always supported, Salford. Or, let's not forget, the Neville brothers and the Neville family were really, really closely associated with Bury. Like, his uncle was the secretary, his mum, like they were really involved. Now, this sounds awfully critical, but Bury went to the wall and Neville was already in charge at Salford. So I just think you can't have everything, Gary Neville. Like, no one would criticise him if he got involved at Manchester United. That's his club. What they're like playing at it. And what they want, a club in every league? Are they as bad as Manchester City? You have like a New York club and a French club and
Yeah, well, the other thing is, what's the end goal for Salford? Is it to be a Premier League team? Just create another sort of huge franchise that flies in the face of these these kind of against modern football kind of ideas. Yeah. I don't know what the end goal is. That's the thing, because you're hurtling towards it, essentially, aren't you? Because
absolutely.
By kind of throwing money at it to advance you at a kind of much quicker pace than is natural,
like if it was Scholes, if it was Neville, if it was Beckham exclusively, you'd think like, oh, well, okay. But they've also got the old owner of, was it Valencia or Sevilla? I can't remember which one. But a guy who's really been involved in top level football as an investor, he now invests in Salford. So obviously they want to be some like fairy tale story. That is not a fairy tale. That's just throwing your money around and then saying like, oh, isn't it wonderful? No, it's not wonderful. You've just bought that thing.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, pipe down and back off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I get it. Yeah, it's strange, and I just find it strange that it sort of seems. I mean, he's not likely to hear this, is he?
No, I imagine not.
But I don't know if I know enough about it to call it hypocrisy. But I just think he's sort of positioned himself over the years as this kind of like champion of sort of socialism, basically. Do you know what I mean, hasn't he? And sort of like at least kind of alluded to the fact that he's kind of like sympathetic to that kind of thing. And this just flies in the face of that.
Yeah, I think fair enough. Like, it's very hard to be a rich. I'm sure it's not hard. It's very easy. But when you're rich, there's a lot of ethical dilemmas, aren't there?
Yeah, and he got rich through one of the only legitimate ways, which is being a footballer. Do you mean?
Yeah, he personally didn't take advantage of whatever. But, and so obviously it becomes harder to do anything. Where like people going like, what do you care? You're rich. Like, and I think, well, that's unfair. Like, if Marcus Rashford wants to help out kids who haven't got enough food because he remembers what that was like, brilliant. But I do think with Neville, the owning of a club in League Two and then running it like you would run a Premier League club and essentially throwing your toys out the pram when you've not had success immediately is pretty strange way to carry on.
Yeah, I agree.
And there are clubs, particularly at the moment, crying out for investment. Like, I know couldn't have predicted coronavirus, but there've always been clubs crying out for just a bit of support, especially in the Northwest, where it's really hard for them, where they're surrounded by mega clubs.
True, although I don't. I feel like perhaps that the idea of wealthy individuals to kind of pull the EFL out of a crisis like that isn't necessarily the best way to go with it. But yeah, I see what you mean. I
mean, what was stopping him? For example, setting up a charity. If they really wanted to help Northwest football and people in lower league Northwest football, you set up a charity or a CIC where there's money available that if your club wants to run an academy, has the opportunity of running an academy but doesn't quite have enough money, there's stuff you can apply for. Like, there's money that like, there are ways around it. I just think the way Salford are carrying on, they're just going to be another Mansfield, where it's just this kind of joke of a club. I feel really sorry for the Mansfield supporters. And to be honest, I feel sorry for people who used to support Salford City when they were just your local club. Because now he's all like...
Well, presumably you're supporting Salford City because you want to support a kind of club that's run a different way. Because if you didn't, you just support Man United. You couldn't even get called out on it geographically. You'd live close enough to be a legitimate Man United fan. Anyway,
I just think it's
It is.
There's a battle for football in League Two at the minute.
What it's interesting about, and I know we've gone on about this a bit too much for an Exeter City podcast, perhaps, because it's nothing to do with it. But we're actually operating in the complete opposite way, aren't we? Which is good, and I feel relieved. And like you said, I sort of feel a bit sorry for clubs who aren't in the position that we're in now. Do you know what I mean? Not that it's amazing. I mean, financially, yeah, we're nowhere near as well off. But in terms of how you going about it and how you go about each stage of, how we deal with the coronavirus, how we deal with selling players, having an academy, that whole system, this is the way to go, isn't it? And you can and this is just from a supporter's perspective as well. Me and you have no, other than paying our £15 a year subs or whatever it is, we're in no way other than that invested at all.
No, absolutely right. While we're on that, of course, just a reminder before we leave you, the trust elections are coming up. I think the deadline is this week. I'm just looking at the email now. It doesn't actually tell me, but it's the deadline's imminent, isn't it? So don't forget to vote. All the prospective candidates, some of whom have been long-standing servants to the trust, all their stuff's up on the trust website. I noticed. I'm gonna have to go and read it properly because actually there's more good people than there are places, if that makes sense. So it's going to be quite a tricky one,
it seems like that, doesn't it? But that's a nice kind of position to be in, really, isn't it?
Absolutely. Apart from that, I just want to mention the FA Youth Cup, where City beat Argyle in extra time.
The next round is tomorrow night.
Yeah, Wednesday night. Yeah, that's right.
Well, what day is it today?
It's Monday today.
Oh, day after tomorrow then.
Yeah. So as you're listening to this, it's tomorrow night.
So beat Argyle in
Argyle.
extra time.
Yeah, shout out to Joe Ragg, got the winner. Always liked him. They go to play Cheltenham. I think it's at Cheltenham, isn't it, this Wednesday?
Okay.
But it's on YouTube. It's on City YouTube.
Yeah. So another thing to do, as there's no Tuesday night game this week, why not watch
the Bays?
Yeah. Do you know what? After I paid £10 to watch that Exeter City against Filed game.
Yeah.
And
we'll have this for free, Dan.
Thanks.
Thanks everyone for listening. Remember, you can get in touch with us in all the normal ways via email, bigbankpod@gmail.com. On Facebook, we're the Big Bank Theory Podcast. And on Twitter, we're at Big Bank Pod.
Was there not a little bit more talk of Grecians in pop culture?
There was. Remember, you can always get in touch with us to tell us more info about Grecians in pop culture. Was this around Dick and Dom?
It is about Dom, yeah.
Okay.
So Jude Coram messaged us on Twitter to say, if it
Jude.
helps, I'm pretty sure Dom mentioned City on Are You Smarter Than a 10-Year-Old? I guess is that a programme?
I guess it's a quiz show, is it?
Okay. I think Dick mentioned he supported Man U, while Dom mentioned Exeter, which surprised and delighted me as a youngster. Good luck finding footage, though. Keep up the good work, gents. Didn't need to include that bit, but I have done. Bit of praise. Cheers. Yeah, so
that's two mentions by Dom of Exeter City.
Yeah.
Wow, well
so
played.
He's put that. Someone else tweeted us, is it common knowledge that Noel Edmonds is an Exeter City fan?
Is that true?
I don't think he is he? I don't think I've ever seen any evidence. Apart, I know he's he lives around here.
Well, he lives out in the sticks, doesn't he? Out past Oakhampton.
Yeah.
So
right, I mean, I won't reveal how exactly, but I can probably find this out.
Wow, you got inside source.
I've got an avenue that I can explore.
Did you used to be Mr. Blobby?
That wasn't me in there, no. But I'll keep you informed.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. More updates on Edmonds.
Oh, but maybe we just change this feature to Are They a Grecian?
It's good. It's good.
So we need to, if is there anyone else out there who you suspect, someone in the kind of the world of celebrity that might be an Exeter City fan. So far on the list, Steve Guttenberg. The jury's out.
Yes,
Dom,
well out. Yeah.
From Dick and Dom, seems very much like he is.
I think we can confirm that.
Noel Edmonds.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Okay.
Any others? Let us know.
Okay. I mean, we're ignoring the obvious ones that we all know about. Edmondson, Chris Martin.
Yeah. We know about those.
We know about those.
We know about Yuri.
The guy from the Hoosiers. We know about him.
Oh, is he one? I don't know anything about this.
Yeah.
Who are the Hoosiers again?
Goodbye, Mr. A. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Rubbish.
But well done on your City affiliation. Well, thanks for listening. Don't forget to leave us a review. if you write a review including information about someone who is a Grecian, you get extra points. We'll be back again next week to talk about City against Bradford and anything else we fancy. Thanks very much for listening. This has been the Big Bank Theory podcast. My name's John. Been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you later, boy.